There we are. Good morning. Good morning. You need someone to tell me whether you can hear me or not. So as soon as somebody's in here, good morning. Ah, good morning. You hear me fine. Thank you very much, Rhinestone. Suzanne, I guess I should say. So thank you. Where are you from, Suzanne? Are you watching me from the U.S. or from another country? Okay. Northern Alabama. Well, that's almost another country. Uh, let's see. Some parts out there are getting really cold right now. Are you in the cold area, or are you warming up? We're going to wait for a few more people to get in here before we start up. Otherwise, I'll have to just keep repeating myself. So, well, wait. There's 33 people now watching. That's good. Right outside of Huntsville. Nice area. Yeah, I have some friends up in, I think it's in North Carolina or Virginia, and they're saying that it was down in the 30s where they're at this morning. So it's kind of crazy all over the place. We're about 55 here in California right now. It just stopped raining after 4 days. So, so I can't complain. It's California weather. So at least we got a sun out. Okay, hi, morning, people, and thank you for coming in. And those of you that are here already, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. It does help things. And what we're going to do this morning is we're going to be turning or returning this piece of wood right here that we left green the other day. And like I said, I'm just waiting for a few more people to get in here first before we get started. And I'll explain kind of what's going on. But if you look at this piece here, it has a real oval shape to the bottom of it, because what I did is when I turned this one, it was green. These are both from the same piece of wood. When I turned this one in green, I knew that it was going to turn oval a little bit. And this has, in just a couple weeks, has grown a quarter of inch longer. It's about 2.25 inches here, about 2 inches here. And you can see it's really going out this direction. And if you look real carefully at the edge, I don't know if you can see that this is actually humped up. This is sunken in here. I don't know if that shows up in the camera very well, but yeah, this has a nice little hump in it. Maybe turn it this way, you can see it from right here, from this spot in. It's humped up, and so that's okay because it's not affecting the bowl itself. I can sand this bottom to make it nice and flat again. I don't need to worry about the outside because it's staying okay, except right here. You see this lump? I don't know if that shows up or not. Maybe if I light it up a little bit more. But there's a lump in a depression here, and that's all because of the wood warping as it's drying. But it creates a really interesting look on the inside here because it does make it sort of an oval shaped bowl, so you're not just turning round bowls all the time. Hi, Alex. So welcome in, folks. And so I just wanted to show you. I mean, this is a really pretty piece of oak. This is cork oak. And so what we did with this piece is I turned this last week, and I just turned it like you would a green piece, like you kind of like you're going to twice turn this bowl. This was turned, and I left it thick because it had about 20% water, so about 20% or so. And what I did is I put this in the microwave. And what you do with the microwave is you put it in for about a minute, depending on the type of wood, but you put it in for about a minute. It gets very, very warm to the touch. Take it out, let the steam dissipate from it for about an hour. Put it back in, do it again, and you do it over and over again. And I got this down to about 9.5 to 10%, which is perfectly acceptable at this time of year with the high humidity outside and so forth. So that's what we're going to do. Now, in this case, it did not change the circle here, at least not noticeably, and it's still relatively flat on the bottom here. So it didn't change the overall proportions, but it did crack right here. I don't know if you can see, but there's a nice big crack here. And that was starting even before I did it, but now it's going to be a real interesting piece because that crack is about, well, 3/8, it's about a quarter of an inch anyway across. And that's just going to add to the character. It didn't split the cork bark on the top. It just split in here, and that's okay. This is going to be trimmed out a little bit. We'll do a little bit of the outside. We'll see how round it still is. Actually, I can feel that this is raised a little bit since I turned it, and that'll come off even with just sanding. And so after that, we'll go on the inside, and we'll do the inside of this bowl. So let's kind of check this up. And this is all about working with the wood that you have. If you have a green piece of wood, it's easier to turn green wood. It turns very easily. It doesn't tear out quite as much as dried wood does in some cases. So what you end up with is a piece of wood that you can half turn, let it sit for a while. Some people let it go sit for 6 months, and just watch it. See, that's pretty good still. So that means that mitered tenon that I put on the inside of this is holding very well. That's good news. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and get in here. We can. Yeah, and we're going to do a little bit on the outside, not a lot, just kind of a little. What would you call it? Trimming, I guess would be the best word. We're going to trim on the outside of that, then we'll go on the inside of it and see what we can do. Please hit the like button if you can. Please comment. Get some comments going in here. Get some conversation going. I'd appreciate that too. So you can see it's a little bit higher in some places than others. And I'm just going to use this scraper very lightly and very slowly at first. Okay, now I think we can go up in speed. Just want to make sure there wasn't anything I was going to catch. And as you can see, I'm just going very lightly. I'm not trying to really change the form of the bowl or anything. I'm just trying to knock off any little high spots that formed in the wood while I was drying. I'm just kind of keep it nice and clean off. Good. Now I did use a little CA glue here after I turned it, just to keep these cracks from getting bigger. And it looks like they did their job for the most part. There's some little spider cracks, but that's nothing serious. We want to make sure we don't have any CA glue on the surface still. Okay. And that feels better already. I think I can just take a little sanding to that, and that should be okay. Let me see. Let me give that a try. But good morning or good afternoon. It's morning here. It's probably afternoon wherever you're at, or evening. But some of you could almost be bedtime, I suppose. We've had people in here from African continent and Asia, all sorts of places. So it could be from almost anywhere. And first, I'm just going to use this to kind of get any little things I see out of the way. And I did have a finish on this also at one point, just to kind of soak in the wood and strengthen the wood a little bit, especially the bark. I put some tung oil on it last week, just to strengthen the bark a little bit. Let's see if we can. Tung oil will get in there and it will dry into fibers and it will strengthen them. Okay. Okay, I'll go to a higher grit. There's just a little knockdown grit. We'll commence to the polishing part a little bit. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. Please feel free to comment in here. If you're in here watching, it doesn't cost anything to talk. Free to hit the like button or double tap the screen. And it's free to subscribe too if you'd like. We have a lot of subscribers and we're growing every week. We're trying to get to 4,000 or 5,000 before the end of the year. And that would help me. The nice thing about subscribing is you get notified every time I'm doing a live, and I do one every Thursday. I will be doing one this Thursday. We usually do one other one, at least 1 or 2 other times during the week. Sometimes it's cleaning up whatever we didn't get finished on a live. And we did a 4-hour live the other day. And this is kind of part of that cleanup a little bit. Kind of show you the final product. So a lot of things get done after the fact. Okay. One more grit and then we'll be finished and we will move on to the inside. I know that's a little more interesting. That's when you see the chips fly, so to speak. Just kind of polishing it up here a little bit. Yeah, it's feeling really good. When you're doing a bowl, you don't. I know you see some of these guys on the videos and they paint a bowl and they go, yeah, it's done. And, well, it's not really done. A lot of times you have to go back and do some more polishing. You see little things in the finish. And you go back and you maybe resand a little bit, or you maybe return it a little bit. We did that the other day on a bowl, and it makes a difference. So it doesn't hurt to go back and look at your stuff you make and see if you can't do a little bit more with it. Yeah, that feels really nice. I'm going to just brush this out a little bit. Any loose stuff. Okay. I'm not going to put any finish on the outside of that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to switch to the inside here. Hope you can see that okay. And make sure that I can turn without hitting anything. Looks about right. Okay. Now, we want to, if I double check my tightness, okay, we want to start carving this out, maybe thinning this out just a little bit more. Okay. And we'll see where we are at. Hey, Michael, thanks for coming in. Glad you can make it. Hope you're not driving right now. I don't think Johnny's in right now. Johnny had to go back to work. He was on a lunch break, but he said he would come back and watch the video later. So I was telling people earlier, there's a nice crack right here from the drying, but this is the one I dried in the microwave. And so we're going to see what we can do with this. I'm going to test it first with just a scraper. And maybe I can get you in a little bit closer here. There we go. See how close it is. That was a little low. Okay. Not too bad, but it is a little low. So I'm going to raise this up just a bit. I want to kind of do it that way. There you go. Come out this way a little. When you're working with these J or curved rests, you want to find the best approach angle so you don't have too much overhang as you're going. If that scraper will work, I'll see if I can use this carbide. Because the carbides and scrapers, carbides and scrapers are roughly the same thing. Scrapers can be a little bit more less aggressive than a carbide. Carbides can be really aggressive if you're not careful. And what I want to do is I want to take out that curve that's forming. They're going a lot further down into the hole, so we need to bring that base out next to the wall and come up. So. Most of that chatter you hear is due to the little voids in the bark. Not necessarily like there's little voids here. Like it's coming around and it's not hitting, and then it's hitting, and then it's not hitting, and then it's hitting. So that's what you're hearing. It's not the fact that they're out of circle, because apparently it stayed very much in circle while it was drying. When I was microwaving, I would microwave it one side up, and then I would turn it over and microwave from the bottom. And I was very careful not to get it too hot, and so that way it didn't cause any cracking or unnecessary cracking. And it was able to get rid of about 50% of the moisture that was in here in just a couple of days. Of course, we don't want to damage anything right now. I think I'll be really careful as we go along here. Oh, and one other thing I didn't mention is this is the pith. This is the center of the wood, and that's right about where we're at. And I'm trying to get underneath it. So I'm right about here, and I'm trying to get underneath it to about here. About another, let's say a half an inch. It's actually less than a half an inch, but I'm trying to get underneath it without finding any other cracks in the process. I gotta see how that's looking. I think we can go a little bit thinner. And of course, as we thin out the bowl, we remove some more of that moist wood, but at the same time, we weaken the walls so that it could actually warp a little bit more. So it's kind of a balancing act between not wanting to create a warp that we didn't want in order to get the look that we want. And again, I actually turned this with the intention of letting it warp a little bit. That's okay. If you would please hit that like button. Let YouTube and everybody know that you're watching our channel, and help with the algorithm. Or if you don't like what I'm doing, that's fair enough. Don't say I don't like what you're doing. I appreciate it and say you like something. Okay. Question, Jeff, for a 2-inch thick piece of stock, to make into a platter or dish, would you use a faceplate or worm screw? I would not use a worm screw, because then you're going to have a big hole in the bottom of your plate. You only got 2 inches. You don't want to be giving all that up. What I've done both, and you've seen me do a couple. What I did is I either do a glue up, which let's see if I can show you an example here. I've got one. There's a couple ways you can do it. Here was a piece that was only a little over an inch thick. Okay. And what I did is I did a glue up. I have a face plate that's attached to a piece of flat wood, glued it on with hot glue, made sure it was very secure, and I just did it that way. Just mounted this up, turned this, and that way I'm not giving up any of the wood to a screw or to a worm screw, either one. And then you just take a hot gun or something, like a hairdryer will probably do it in a lot of cases, and loosen the glue up until it can come off. You go back and use like a chisel or something, or a scraper, and scrape off the excess glue, sand it down, which I still need to do a little sanding on this. I've been waiting for the rain to stop. But you need to do a little sanding on this, and you're done. And no fuss or anything. So that's the way I would do that. And this is well, here's an example of one of them. I just took a piece of wood, mounted it on there, turned it into a circle, and this is what's holding the screws. There's no screws coming through. You can see I still got the glue on here. I gotta heat it up and take it off of here before I do the next one. But the glue does not stay forever on here. But it's great. You give it like no more than a couple of hours maybe to harden up. Make sure you put some in here. And then I also go around the edge, and that's how I do it. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I don't have a lot of thick stock. Yeah. So yeah, even if you're doing just a 2x4, in fact, I've done that on several plates. I don't know if I have any other examples here right now, but this technique works really well. I just use hot glue. I have a little hot glue gun, and just glue gun it on the inside. One thing you want to make sure is, of course, that you are mounting it right in the center of the piece of wood you're turning, so you don't have to take off a whole lot of wobble or anything like that. But other than that, once you get this down, it sticks. Then then go around with the glue, hot glue like this around the outer edge. Let it set for a couple hours, to really set up, depending on the weather outside and so forth. And this is a really easy technique. There's also the double tape technique, although for a bigger piece of wood, anything bigger than, say, a bracelet size or something, I would not use that, because that double stick tape can let go. But you can. There is a woodworker's double stick tape that actually does a really good job, and I mean, it's like industrial strength. But I hope that answers your questions. Great question. And it really won't be that sketchy, and especially if you start off with a relatively round piece, or if you're leaving it square like that one I showed you. I left it square, So now this is interesting. If you don't notice it, I don't know if you can see down in here, but there's at least a finger's depth between me and the bottom of the bowl now. When I started, it was like really close up to it, so very quickly you can get down into that wood. So I'm going to do a quick measurement here, and it looks like I'm right about here right now. I can go a little bit more, but I want to start watching. Oh, and I want to move this in a little bit too. I'm a little closer. There we go. So yeah, you do have to keep checking yourself, or you'll end up with a nice little window through the bottom of your bowl. I'm just kind of using this carbide right now. So I'm going to go back with my scraper and smooth things out a little bit more here in a second. I'm a little aggressive with this carbide right now. Hopefully I don't lose anything. think this is still a little bit on the thick side. Let's see what that looks like now. I think we're kind of getting down to depth, but I don't want it to go in on the inside too fast. I want it to match this outside of the bowl. I think we're right about the thickness. Maybe go a little bit, maybe a little bit thinner out here. Let's see. Hi, Jan. Hi, Baldwin. Hi, Newt and Simon and Edward and Philippe. Good morning. Good morning, all of you. And please hit that like button if you can. I know some of you are from different places. Michael there, he's from the warm climates of Scotland. We got people from the state of Alabama. But if you like to let us know where you're from, I appreciate it. You can kind of share that with the rest of the group. There's 600 people in here. I hope we have at least 600 likes. I appreciate y'all coming in on a Tuesday, no matter what time it is in your part of the world. It's about 10:30 in the morning here. I kind of like to see who's up the latest right now watching this. And Michael, I know it's the evening time where you're at, but I'll bet you there's some people that are up kind of late at night watching this. Anybody watching this like before they go to bed? Hi, Marcus. Hi, Philippe. Okay, we're getting near the end here, I think. I'm getting this squared out. Great. I'm going to go to my scraper here, see if we can't just smooth that up a little bit. I think we got the thinness that we want, and I think we got the depth that we want. Now it's a matter of just kind of cleaning things up a little bit. Kind of hard to feel a little bit of a lump right there. Okay, let's see what I can do about that. That bottom feels good. Yeah. I'm just a little finicky about that bottom corner. Ooh, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I got that. I got that cleaned up good. Okay, now we've done all the fun stuff. Now we get to the work part. Ooh, sorry. I just did something really stupid with my computer. Just give me a second. Give me a second here, guys. Gotta bring you back up. We're still live. We are still live and everything. I just accidentally launched you off my screen here. I gotta get back on here. There we go. Okay, so we got this all. Gotta get this all the dust out of here. I think I might have to get the vacuum in order to get that cleaned out. Let's see. Get all the dust out of there. So this is kind of an experiment on how to dry out a bowl quickly using a microwave. And as you can see, it worked out pretty good so far. And there's still dust coming out of that thing. I want to get as much of that out because that'll muddy the finish. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to try and get this picture a little bit better in here. You can see. That helps a little bit. I'm going to bring this down. You can see inside. There we go. All right, so let's put some finish on this and get this off the table. Let me do the inside first. Oh, you know what? I didn't sand that. That's okay. That's okay. I'll go back and sand it. But I'll let this get in first, and then we'll go and sand it. It's pretty smooth. It's not going to take much in the way of sanding, but I should have sanded first. That was dumb of me. I got ahead of myself. But there you go. You can kind of see what it looks like. And I'll get a chance to soak that in while I do the outside. And like I said, it's not going to absorb much on the on the wood part of this wall, but it will soak it in on the bark part. And let it go down in any little wormholes or anything that are little cracks. Get in there and enrich the wood and bring out the colors a little bit. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Please double tap that screen. Hit the like button. And please comment. Please let us know what you're doing. Where are you from? Where are you watching us from? What part of the world? Or there's one big wood-loving community here, so it'd be nice to find out where everybody else is from. Yeah, that's starting to look pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah. There we go. Get down into that hole just a little bit. Okay. Well, we went from 600 down to 300, so let's try and make it more interesting for you in a minute here. But I'm going to let that sit for just a minute. I'm going to wipe off a little bit of this excess. On the wood parts. And this is just tung oil mixed with a little bit of limonene, which is a citrus oil. And citrus oil is a cleaner, degreaser, and it also smells really, really nice. Smells like lemons or oranges. There's a nice citrus smell to it. Okay. So I'm gonna wipe this out now. And we will go back and sand this. Stupid me. Make that look just a little bit nicer. So, okay. We're just gonna do it real softly. There we go. As I said, we didn't need a lot of sanding. Just kind of take out any little tiny rough spots. Yeah. Especially around the inside of the cork area. Yeah. There. Okay, I think now that's pretty good. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah. Here. My wife's been working on this three-dimensional piece. There we go. So it lights up and it has is a kind of three-dimensional box. Yeah, there's the box. And it's got lights inside. That looks really, really nice. Yeah, good job. Thanks. Yeah, she does amazing stuff in the shop here. Doesn't really like to be on camera much. But we're going to get her in the shop. We're going to have her do a turning coming up here soon. We're going to try and we're going to see if we can do a Christmas tree. I don't know if we can or not. That may be maybe something we screw up on, but I've never done one, and so I'm going to let her teach her how to use the tools a little bit and have her do a Christmas tree. We'll see how it goes. So that'll be coming up here probably maybe Thursday, I don't know, or next week, I'm not sure, but very soon. Okay. Well, I think we are just about done with this one. And as you can see, it really brought out some interesting colors and designs to this. Yeah. And it didn't fall apart. Using the microwave really does help. And I may go back in a couple weeks and find that it did warp out a little bit more, but it's going to have a lot less to warp now. There's going to be a lot less moisture in it, and I may even microwave it after it's sat here for a little bit, just to control that moisture. You don't go down to zero, of course. You don't go down to really below 8 or 9%, because you want wood to have some life to it. Otherwise, it's like driftwood. Let's take this off of here, and let's take a peek. Okay. I'll wipe that off. And here we are. Got nice proportions. It's nice and thin here. Got some beautiful grain. You can see the grain in there. The outside. I think this will probably sell pretty well. It's still relatively heavy. It's not light, but I'm probably about a quarter of an inch from the bottom miter here, and I do still need to finish the bottom off. But yeah, I think this is looking really, really good. Let's see a spot I missed. Make sure I get some in there. Okay, good. So yeah, what do you think, guys? There's always something popping up on my screen. There you go. Hi, Lena. Lobster? Abbas, lots of names in here. Please hit that like button or double tap the screen. I see about 70 some odd likes so far, but we should be able to get it up to at least 100 or more, at some point. Okay. You do something? Okay, so I have a couple pieces here that we're going to be working on this next week. I want to show you this. Got a piece of walnut and a piece of birch. And we're going to be turning these, and as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. It's been drying for a long time, and not quite sure how they're going to turn out as far as turnings go, but we're going to turn them whole. They haven't cracked at all, so they should be in good shape. So this is some of the stuff we're going to be working on next time. And I have this baby. This is walnut, and it's a pretty big boy. We've been doing small things lately. It is big. So what we're going to do, we're going to mount a faceplate on this thing because it's the only thing that will handle this weight. We're going to put a faceplate on here, and we're going to turn this if we can, or at least get it started. And let me see if I can find my best faceplate for this. I'm going to say it's about there. I was measuring across. Double check myself. I was measuring across. This is it. Actually, it's right about there. And if I was measuring this way, right about there. It's right about there. Okay. So I'm going to be not close at all, really, probably, but I'm going to say right about here. Well, that is hard wood. I can't even make a puncture into that. Okay. I'm going to have to drill a hole in there. Small one. And I hope we're in the right spot. Well, it doesn't want to go in easy, that's for sure. Wow. There we go. Got on there. Okay. Now I can screw into this and see what we can do with it. Again, it's going to be a slow turn at first. And going to have to be very careful. I have a feeling it's going to wobble quite a bit. There we are. And now we're not going anywhere. Oops. That's not working for me. I'll get this thing straight. Yeah, this screw's not working. Well, that one goes back to the shorts. Let's see. There you go. That one went in. It's not going anywhere, but I'll put in a couple more just to make me feel better. Boy, there's some hard spots in this wood. Whew. I'll try a different one. There we go. Okay, now we'll mount this. There we are. Let's see what happens when this turns. That starts to walk a little bit. Okay. It's going to take a while to get everything rounded up on this. Got to change our tool rest. And we'll get this tool rest in here. I'm going to pull out just a little bit. There we go. You can see the whole thing. I think we're going to have to attack this first a little bit. And get that kind of knocked down before we can go too much further. So, wish me luck on this part. Okay. Got quite a few people in here, I can see. Thank you. Let's turn this thing on and do some damage. Okay. Whoa. That's what I was trying to find out. Where is it? It's hard to see. I have to go kind of slow here at first because it's really throwing off the balance. right now we're just hitting that edge. I'm trying to knock that down so now I can get a little closer to it. I don't like being way out there with the tool. Whoa! Just dropped my other bowl. And, well, hopefully didn't hurt it. There you go. Guess I should have been a little more careful there. And usually the best attack angle is up and in, so you can ride the bevel. Now I've got a little bit of purchase here. Okay, a little bit closer. And you can see I'm actually getting bounced out here a little, so I'm going to start. And pretty soon we will be at almost taking care of most of this in the bottom. See, eventually we're going to take all this off, get down to here. And yes, I could have bandsawed it, I suppose, but you know, sometimes you don't have a bandsaw handy and you want to learn how to do this. You got to do it the best way you can. See if I can get a little bit more speed on this. Actually start going up a little bit on the edges. Just to make it a little bit easier. Oh, that was a big cut. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, see, we're starting to form this up a little bit because we've got to meet these sides. We want to eventually meet these sides. So let me get on the outside here for just a minute. Now I've taken care of that excess piece that was hanging out on the bottom. Let's see how close we can get in here. This will let me know just how good I did at finding the center. And it looks like I was really darn close. There we go. That's pretty good, actually. Okay. So we'll kind of break along here. That kind of brings it back towards me. And pretty quickly, we're going to end up with a round here. I know this doesn't look like it's fun, and it's not. So now I'm getting to where I can undercut it just a little bit and ride the bevel of the tool. they have to do is put up with getting hit for about a minute or two. Yeah, it kind of loosens that all that banging. There. I know it's not circular yet, but got a little flat spot here. We got a little bit of, we got a flat spot here we got to take care of, flat spot here. There's some flat spots, but we're actually getting in the round now, which is good. That's what we want to get. Please hit that like button before I get killed by something. Now I'm able to pick the speed up a little bit. Okay. Good. All right. Come in here. You didn't get a notification. Okay. So Robert, you said you didn't get a notification. I put it up about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock last night, something like that. And so it wasn't like a really big notification. I got that a little too high. It wasn't a really big notification, but I did put it up last night, so you should have gotten it. But glad you're here. I've been eyeballing this piece of walnut for quite a while, and I figured it was about time to start turning it. It's just about time to get this sharpened, but I'm going to let it go here for a little bit.